After Iraqi forces invaded Kuwait in 1990, over 500,000 Americans bravely fought to expel one of the largest military forces in the world. And once the dust settled, more than 300 brave men and women died as a result of their commitment to freedom and democracy. A major facet of our mission as an organization is to ensure those who have gone before us in war are remembered and honored properly. Time and time again, the VFW members have spoken out loud and clear in their support of constructing the National Desert Storm War Memorial. In 2015, we again voiced our support as the first major veteran service organization to financially back the project, donating $100,000 towards our $500,000 pledge to help ensure the memory of their commitment and sacrifices endures for generations to come. Here today to provide us with an update on the memorial is CEO and President of the National Desert Storm War Memorial Board of Directors and VFW Life member Scott Stump.
America's better days are behind her. We're no match for the fourth largest army in the world. We're just a bunch of volunteers. There is no way we can win in the desert. Does anybody remember those comments, those supportive comments of our military and our country that were made by none other than the media, not just our media, but the global media back in 1990? I've heard some say, Operation Desert Storm, well, Scott, it was over so quickly, like that's a bad thing. It's like a boxer saying, gee, I really wish I wouldn't have knocked that guy out in 30 seconds. I really wish I would have let it go 15 rounds to see what could happen. Crazy thinking. As I mention all the time, I sincerely believe that the reason we had such a rapid and resounding success back in 1991 was the fact that all of our leadership were Vietnam veterans, and they were not going to let what happened to them the first time around happen to us, and I do give them all the credit for my being able to be here before you this morning. I hope the senator and the congressman aren't within earshot, but I would even go a step further and say that what you saw in Operation Desert Storm, you would have seen in Vietnam if the government and the politicians weren't monkeying around. And Vietnam veterans in the crowd, spouses, this victory, this memorial is yours as well. Thank you for all that you've done. And although Operation Desert Storm was a resounding success, we can never forget that 383 Americans, 15 women, made the ultimate sacrifice. And it's the same sacrifice that's been made since the beginning of our country's founding, and that continues to be made to this day. Those 383, along with the close to 700,000 who answered the call and were prepared to make that same sacrifice, they cannot be forgotten. Well, the good news is that they won't be forgotten through this memorial. This effort to build the memorial is now in its 8th year, and I've got to be honest with you. It's not been a lot of fun, and most of the time it's been a real slog because of the B word. Does anybody know what the B word is in Washington? I bet you the senator could tell you. The B word is bureaucracy, and I know you heard that little rumor going around that there is a little bit of it up there. I hate to bust the bubble, but it's true. But I'm happy to report this morning that after a 3-year battle that was only supposed to take 18 months, we have finally secured the location for this memorial in Washington, D.C. And I can't see it up here, but I think you may see on your screen there's a map, an overview, and if there isn't, I'll tell you where it is. You just heard the senator talk about where he takes his walks. It's right in that neighborhood. It's a 23rd and Constitution. It's in the shadows of the Lincoln Memorial, and it's very close to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, which we had a number of Vietnam veterans that wrote to the commission as well as came to testify, explaining this unique connection that we have and the need to be in the same neighborhood. And I'm proud to report that we are right essentially next door, 2 notches over from the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. So we're very happy, we're very relieved. Now we move ahead with the process, and now we have to have the design approved, and our goal is to have this completed in 2021. Does anybody know what the significance of 2021 is? Don't tell anybody, but it's the 30th anniversary, and I don't like to think about that because my knees start hurting. But it's the 30th anniversary, so we have to have 110% of the funding in the bank in order to break construction. We are on track, and we're going to get this done, and we're very excited to move forward. Now, I keep hearing the slogan, and I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong terminology, but I hear the slogan, "No one does more for veterans," or motto, slogan. I want to tell each and every one of you in this auditorium this morning, that is not a buzzword, it's not a catchphrase. The VFW lives this motto, and I'm here to tell you, and I'm so happy to say firsthand that we do live that motto. The chief had mentioned the $500,000 commitment in installments of $100,000. That has been critical to our success in getting to where we are now. You see, a lot of people think, well, the work doesn't start until you break ground. They have no idea what all leads up to just getting to where we are. It's been a tremendous burden, and it's been a tremendous challenge. But just know that the VFW is at the heart of the success of this, and all of you can take pride and credit in that. I'd also like to recognize one of our own, and I know he's going to get mad at me, but he's off to the side here, Mr. Joe Davis, who our communications director. Joe showed up for the Commission of Fine Arts hearing on June 21st. He delivered some passionate remarks, delivered them in a way that was very powerful. It made a big difference. Joe, thank you for your support. It really did make a difference. And I'd also like to thank all of you in the audience, all of you individuals, posts, districts, as well as departments who have donated to this cause and helped us with this mission. It's been vital, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'd just like to say to those of you that have not joined us, I'd like to invite you to participate. We'd love to work with you. We have a booth up at 145, whichever direction I'm pointing. We're at 145. There's information on how you can get involved. $50 here, $500 there. It all comes together, and it has been crucial. Thank you to all of you who have participated in this. And I'd also just like to put a plug in. This evening we have an event at the Bar Louie, and Bar Louie is a restaurant, and they are donating 20% of all of the food purchases toward the memorial. You have to eat anyhow, folks. We'd love to have you join us here this evening. And again, more information at booth 145. In closing, I would like to recognize 2 groups of individuals that have gone way above and beyond the call of duty. I'd like to recognize the largest donation by post and by department. I'd like to first of all call up Commander Brad Reed from Post 7564, West Fargo, North Dakota, who donated $20,000 one post. While Commander Reed is making his way up here, I'd like to also recognize the top department donor. I'm not a CPA, so I'm not going to mince little words and little numbers, but it was just shy of $25,000. I find it very appropriate that the top department also happened to suffer the largest casualty count at any one given time with the 14th Quartermaster Corps. the great state of Pennsylvania. I'd like to ask Commander Haynes to please come up here. Thank you.